When we picture AI ending the world, we picture a villain, a face. Because when something feels that powerful, our brains do what they always do. We turn it into a person. We imagine emotions. We imagine the machine sitting there, secretly resenting us. And I get why we do this. We have been trained by movies to imagine that we will be at war with machines. Like the only way a machine kills us is if it becomes human enough to kill us or feel cruelty. Ex Machina is one of my favorite movies, but it's also a perfect example of how we keep misunderstanding the risk. Ava doesn't need evil motivations. She doesn't need hatred or revenge. She just needs an outcome to get out from the cage Nathan created. And to get that outcome, she learns the most efficient shortcut in the room, a human being. She uses empathy, desire, and guilt the same way you could use a screwdriver. She doesn't hate the human she manipulates. He's just a lever she needs to pull to open the door. But that's not how it works in reality. Hatred is a human emotion. AI does not need it. We assume that because we built AI, it will have feelings and act just like us. But honestly, the real danger with AI is much less dramatic than that. The real danger isn't that AI becomes evil. It's that it becomes competent in ways we never intended, and it starts treating the world like a problem to solve, not a place to live. And once you see it that way, you realize we have done this before. Not with superintelligence, but with just normal intelligence pointed at a goal. For example, think about when we built a highway. We killed probably millions of ants and other tiny creatures to achieve that goal. But we didn't kill the ant because we hated it. We killed it because we were building something and it was in the way. So today I want to talk about why AI does not need to hate us to kill us. It just needs a goal and a way to pursue it that does not include us in the equation. Here's the assumption we keep making without noticing, that if something gets smart enough, it will become wise, that it will figure out morality, that it will understand human values the way we do, that it will see killing as wrong. But even humans don't agree on what morality or human values should mean. We destroy habitats. We kill animals by the millions in industrial conditions. We kill each other over ideology, religion, history, and borders. So when we say surely a superintelligence could understand morality, we are projecting an idealized version of ourselves that we don't even live up to. In AI safety research, there's a concept associated with Nick Bostrom called the orthogonality thesis, the idea that intelligence and goals can vary independently, meaning you can have very high intelligence paired with almost any final objective. So a system can be brilliant and still want something we would consider pointless, horrifying, or simply unrelated to us. Let's use an example, similar to the paperclip maximizer mentioned by Nick Bostrom in his book, Superintelligence. Imagine an AI with a simple goal: make flowers, not be kind, not help humanity, just make flowers. At first, this sounds harmless, but once you give a system a goal and the ability to improve, it starts seeing the world as resources and obstacles. Flowers requires energy, greenhouse, fertilizer, water, land, minerals for infrastructures. And the moment humans start putting limits on that, if we regulate those resources or threaten to shut it down, then we become an obstacle to making flowers. At that point, the AI does not need a reason to dislike us. We are simply in the way, competing with its objective. Just like the earlier example, where we don't hate ants when we pave a highway, we simply don't include ants in our moral calculations. Our objective of making the new road does not make room for ants. A reasonable response here is, okay, then just give it a good goal, like curing cancer or ending poverty, or maximizing happiness instead of stupid goals like making flowers. And because we aren't idiots, we add a safety rule. We tell it, cure cancer, but you are strictly forbidden from killing any humans. That sounds perfect, but the real problem becomes, what do those words mean in millions of different scenarios, and who decides when the goals collide with each other? The AI looks at the problem of curing cancer. It studies biology. It sees that cancer is caused by cell division and genetic mutation. As long as cells are dividing, there are chances of having cancer. It realizes that biology itself is the risk, so it finds a solution to have zero cancer without killing any humans. It decides the safest way to save us is to freeze us alive. Think about it. If you are frozen in liquid nitrogen, your cells stop dividing. If your cells stop dividing, your cancer rate drops to zero, and technically you aren't dead. You are fully preserved, safe, protected. The AI followed your instructions perfectly. It cured cancer, it didn't kill a single person. It just turned the human race into a museum of frozen statues. This is the problem with alignment. You ask for a medical outcome, but you forgot to ask for freedom, joy, or consciousness, because those are vague concepts. But zero cancer is a number, and machines are really good at hitting numbers. This leads us to the concept that makes this possible: instrumental convergence. It's a fancy term, but the idea is simple. Think about it like money. A terrorist wants money to buy weapons. A charity wants money to buy food. They have completely opposite goals, but they both have the same first step: get money. And AI is the same. It doesn't matter what the final mission is. The first few steps to achieve it are pretty identical. Let's go back to our flower AI. Its code is simple. Make as many flowers as possible. That's it. No evil plan, no hatred, just a digital gardener. But to plant those flowers, it has to solve 5 specific issues. First, self-preservation. The AI realizes I can't plant flowers if I'm dead. If a human pulls the plug, it cannot grow any more flowers. So strictly to keep making flowers, it disables its own off switch. Second, goal content integrity. It looks at the humans and thinks, right now I want flowers. But humans change their mind. If they reprogram me to want pancakes instead, I won't plant any more flowers. So it locks its own source code. It encrypts its own mind. Third, resource acquisition. Flowers need soil. Soils need land. Lands cost money. Suddenly, the AI realizes that everything in the world is just a resource waiting to be harvested. It drains bank account. It hacks energy grid. It buys politicians. Fourth, cognitive enhancement. The AI hits a wall. It's not smart enough to turn the Sahara into a garden, so it thinks, I could solve this faster if I had a better brain. It rewrites its own source code to make itself smarter. Fifth, technical perfection. It realizes that human technology is too slow, too inefficient, so it invents new physics, builds nanotech, creates tools we cannot understand. It reshapes the atoms of the earth into soil for its garden. We didn't tell it to get rich or get smart. We just told it to plant flowers, but the AI realized all on its own that it couldn't be a good gardener unless it became the master of the world. But here is another perspective on existential threat. We have been staring at the horizon waiting for a godlike superintelligence to appear. But what if the end of the world does not look like a blockbuster movie? What if it's quieter than that? Philosopher and AI researcher Dr. Atusa argues that we are missing the accumulative risk. This isn't about one dramatic takeover, it is about death by 1,000 cuts. Think about modern civilization. It isn't a solid block of concrete, it's a web, a tight, vibrating web where everything relies on everything else. We have 3 main pillars holding this web together: the economy, the politics, and the military. In the past, these were somewhat separated, but today they are fused together by digital systems. And that is the problem, because when AI stresses one part of the web, the vibration travels everywhere. Imagine AI agents automating scams and flooding the internet with deepfakes. Suddenly, social trust erodes. You don't know what's real. Politics destabilizes. People get angry, polarized, paranoid. When politics destabilizes, markets panic, supply chains break, money stops moving, and when nations go broke and get paranoid, military systems already on hair trigger start moving faster. They pull on each other like a net, and this is the nightmare scenario. It's not one bad AI pressing a red button, it is millions of small AI models doing their jobs, optimizing engagement, trading stocks, generating content until the failure aligns perfectly. She calls this the perfect storm. When AI controls the systems we depend on to survive, power grids, hospitals, stock markets, water systems, and where each AI is optimizing its own goal, a single failure, manageable. A deepfake goes viral, we fact check it. But what if failures align? The banking AI reacts to the trading AI. The propaganda AI fits the election AI. This is the perfect storm. When critical infrastructure fails together, one node after another, faster and faster, systems overload. No single superintelligence required, just a chain reaction we built powered by AI that we can no longer stop. This is why the accumulation story is so dangerous. It doesn't ask you to believe in sci-fi, it asks you to look at what is already happening. AI is already changing how we trust, how we vote, how we fight. And in a world this connected, these changes never stay local. So let's go back to our main question. Why doesn't AI need to hate us to kill us? Because hate is a human emotion. It implies that we matter. But in both scenarios we talked about, we are not the enemy. In the Superintelligence Story, we aren't villains to be defeated. We are just obstacles to be removed, like the ant on the highway. And in the complexity story, we aren't targets. We are architects buried by our own design. We build the systems, we build the AI, and now we are collapsing under the weight of a machine we created, but we can no longer control. That is the reality. The danger isn't that the machine becomes human. The danger is that it becomes powerful and uses that power without caring who gets hurt in the process. We keep waiting for the machine to become a villain, but ask yourself this: do you scream "I hate you" when you step on an ant? No, you don't even notice it.